Good evening, everyone. I'm really happy to be here, having the chance to facilitate this message, to bring the girls' experience to you. I will start by a quick introduction, very much motivated by Elia's question. And then, of course, I would like to just talk about what is this night about and let you know what our goals are. So, inside racism, making the invisible visible. The headline notes of this night was picked with careful thought, picturing that in this evening we could see and feel beyond our usual places. We step into someone's experience without letting of thinking how we feel about it. To give someone voice means we are interested in learning about what this person has lived, and from this experience we learn and create new understandings and meanings for our realities. This is the goal of the meeting. Maybe we together at the end enable ourselves to grasp that the way we are living is not that cool to everybody. I come from Brazil, and my country of origin was one of the big slave markets of the world. The people who were dragged to inhuman living and working conditions still suffers from this past mentality. People there still think colored skins are less worthy, and this sounds absurd, but there is still slavery today, at the same plantations of the past. And there is still murders of native people and much more violence and inequalities we cannot count. But racism these days is not only perpetrated by racists. We somehow inherited comments, behaviors, and life standings of the past. So this night is also about recognizing our faults and our privileges. In my country, I know whites is still in better work positions, living in much better houses and having better education. Because of this, there is poor understanding about ourselves, our diversity, and therefore our democracy. How could it be different if not bringing this matter to our consideration and the people to the center of the stage? We need all the pieces to solve this puzzle. So now comes the time, and we have the chance to ask and to listen. How does all this feel for you? With this, I start asking each of you, who are you and how would you describe yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Aaliyah and I'm from the United States, from Seattle, Washington. And yeah, I'm an American girl. I came to Germany 2 years ago, and I've been at Karlshochschule studying IB. And one thing for sure, when later in life, growing up here in the US and then coming here, I realized that I am not the norm wherever I go. And even when I go back to the country I was born in, Indonesia, I'm still a foreigner there as well. So it's definitely a unique life that I've been living so far. And thank you all for taking your time to listen to my story.
Hi everyone, my name is Ruby. I'm an African, like as all of you can observe. I was born of Rwanda and raised in Uganda. Sometimes it's hard for me to identify who I am. I have traveled and I've lived here in Germany, and coming here in Germany it was the first time that I identified myself that I was not a human being. Yeah. So who I am, I define myself as a human being. living like any other person. But despite that, sometimes I find myself lost in myself and getting to know me.
Hello everyone, I'm Almas. I'm from South Africa, Somerset West, Cape Town. I would define my racial identity as colored, and I'd like to clarify that. Because I'm from South Africa, I would say I'm colored, but in America it would be an offensive term to use, so I'd just like to clarify that. Yeah, I've always been the minority in my country, and I'm still the minority here, and I hope you'll learn a little bit about my experience.
Hi everyone, my name is Inju. I'm from South Korea. I went to the US when I was in high school and lived there for 3 years. Now I'm here in Germany. It's going to be my 4th year this year in Germany. And I grew up in Korea like any other Koreans, and I was a majority there. And then when I went to the US, I realized that I was not anymore. And then I went through some culture clashes and many experiences, but now I'm trying to find myself in everywhere else. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, then I ask, because especially with you, Elia, I think there's a difference between what happened in your background and what happened here. So I would like you to maybe talk a little bit about your experiences. If you feel better, most talking about how is it here for you? How is it different?
Right, so my background can be kind of confusing in some ways, and it doesn't quite make sense to a lot of people. And so I always have to explain myself, where I'm from, because I always get the question of, where are you really from, like we watched from the video. And so my background, I really have to make it make sense. And then lately I've been feeling, I guess it doesn't have to make sense anymore. It's just, my idea is that I'm ethnically Indonesian, but I was raised in the US, and however, I come from a hometown where it was, I would say, I grew up with privilege, where I could access education. I was in some honors classes, and I grew up in an area though where it was a bit more affluent, but I wasn't, of course, the norm, like we've been mentioning. And of course, I realized that at a young age. So also my story is that I'm adopted. So my adopted mother, she's white American. And then my father, he's Indonesian. So of course, when I'm with my dad, it makes sense. But then when I'm with my mom, I've gotten statements or comments from Costco, that's a wholesale store in the US. And people have asked my mom, oh, are you her mom? Where did you get her from? So I'm just standing there like, that's my mom. That's my mother. And of course, then has to the extension of having to explain. That's always been my life. And then I never really understood why until I started attending Karlshochschule, that I realized that it didn't have to make sense to people. I didn't have to always explain myself and have it make sense. So yeah, I guess another experience that I realized coming to Germany is that I realized that I am not just American, I'm Asian. So I'm maybe some Asians in this room, they've experienced on the street a lot of comments saying ni hao. I don't know, raise your hand if you've gotten that before. You get me? Yes, you get me. So at first I was so confused. I came here and I was like, why are they saying that to me? I'm not Chinese. I don't even know the language, and so I think at first I was really like angry. I was angry, and then I realized that when you're being discriminated against, you can't always prove that you are being discriminated. And so when I try to explain this to non-Asians perhaps, they would say to me, oh, they're just saying this because they're curious and they're saying it out of kindness, out of respect. But I don't think that's the case. So yeah, I'm also like, when the thing is about racism, it has the power to hide, and when it hides, it's kept safe, and it starts to blend in, as we have seen like throughout eons, throughout generations. And when I reflect back to me not being the norm in my own hometown, I would get the question where I'm from. I'm from there, and then coming to Germany, I'm from the US. It's still not the norm, and so that's what I'm trying to prove every day of my life to new people. It doesn't, anyone could be from anywhere. That's what I'm trying to get at. Yeah.
Thank you. I also would like to extend this question to Almas and Andrew. How do you feel you are different here? I think you already approached this in the beginning. So you are stating that you are colored. So how is this important for you?
I think for me, it's really sad, but the truth is I'm so used to it. Growing up in South Africa, being treated differently, that being here and being treated differently, I don't see it. I've become so desensitized to it that if somebody treats me disrespectfully, or sometimes in the worst case refuses me service, I just be like, oh, they're having a bad day. Maybe they are, but the reality is that they're racist. And for me, like I said, I'm desensitized to it, but I become overly sensitive when I see this happening to my friends, and I get really angry, and I want to shout at people, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really good friend with Aliyah, so we just walk around the street and people see us, oh, ni hao, both of us. And, I am East Asian and I might look like one of Chinese people, but the truth is I'm not, and I don't feel the necessity to explain myself anymore. And sometimes people ask me, oh, so where are you from? And they already know where I'm from, in their mind. They're already assuming where I'm from. Like if I say, oh, I'm from Korea, and then they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Not like Aliyah. It doesn't make sense to them where she's from, but it makes sense to them where I'm from. But even though they get it right, I felt uncomfortable about it, but I didn't know why at first. But I try to think about it now. Now I think just the fact that they're assuming who I am by my look, it makes me uncomfortable. Yeah.
Okay, I also would like to ask you, especially Ruby, and I think Almas, you made good points regarding this background and how this background interfered in the way you grew up. I also would like to listen a little bit. How did you experience different treatment in your school and family?
Well, with this question, being born with different ethnicity, sometimes it makes you lose yourself. This didn't only happen when I was here. When I was still in my country and just a small girl, sometimes I was shy to say that I was a Rwanda because the society had negative impact towards this. This made me lose my childhood, whereby I spent all my time with my mother. So moving to a new country where I came, I expected that no one is going to take me to feel into this way. I moved here and people were asking, who are you? I said, I'm Ruby. I was born of Rwanda and raised in Uganda. But it was very hard for people to understand, and they could come up with different narratives towards this. This made me feel that every day I have to give an interview to everyone. And this made me to feel insecure and also to lose myself because people had a different impact about this. When I was in my foundational year, at one time I felt like I want to pack my bags and go back home because I was lost. I didn't know who I was. Yet when I was growing up, my mother told me, you are who you are. You are not supposed to tell everyone who you are. But if you have these mosquito bites that bite you every day, they take away your esteem, and sometimes you get lost in yourself. This was my experience with this.
Thank you, Ruby.
Yeah, growing up in South Africa, I went to what people would call a white school, and that means that the majority of the people were white, and the majority of the people were wealthy, and my family actually had to go into debt so that I could go to the school. And at the school, as a colored female, I felt that I had to work 3 times as hard for my voice to be heard, and for my idea to be heard, and for my knowledge to be, taken as its knowledge. And I thought that when I would come here, different country, new life, new start, that it would be different and I could define myself. But sometimes you still find yourself being kind of put into this category again as being just a brown girl. And so you feel a little bit lost. Yeah. There.
And to go off that, yeah, right, what you said about being categorized and boxed. When you mentioned before being like desensitized to all these comments and these mosquito bites, I start to live a life where I question myself, oh, did they say that because I'm Asian? Did they say that because I'm American? And then when I question them back, oh, why did you say that? Like, is it because I'm Asian? And then they become defensive, saying not everything is about race and not everything is about that. But it really, it starts becoming internalized, and this feeling and that internalized racism, it seeks to decimate your own culture. And like growing up in the U.S., I attended a majority. It was a majority white school, so I came to the U.S. not knowing much English, so I had to either conform to the stereotypes that was expected of me or conform to the whiteness that surrounded me. And no, I'm not good at math. Yes, maybe I'm a bad driver, but that doesn't that doesn't define who I am. And so I've really learned how to deconstruct my identity and not base it on because I'm Asian, because I'm American. It's really a complex idea of what we are, but yeah.
I have a question to you. My next question is, I would like you to share, how does your ethnicity create, if any, create threatening situations for you here in this city?
Yeah, my ethnicity and how my looks or race give no space for me. When it comes to school here, I'm a student who's volunteering like any other student who's doing any part job. When I was in my foundational year, I was given to work with the materials to put the class together. One time when I came to class to work as a normal person, it broke my heart down that the student that I study with, they asked me, are you a cleaner here? I asked myself, what does it mean for a student to be here? Who are you supposed to look like? This lowered my esteem down. And I questioned myself, a lot of questions, but I didn't have who to address them to. And despite that, there is a time when I was giving my presentation in class. I was standing up. One of the students from the audience said this, "What is she going to speak?" Inside my heart, with the small group that I told them, "I think I'm going to speak English. I'm not going to speak African language." So this all went around me, put me down, make me lose a meaning of who a human person is and what is humanity in a civilized society. Despite that, also walking around on the streets, sometimes I feel like my life is in danger. When I go to the shopping mall, and people are scared of me, and I don't understand this. And for me, coming from Africa, I expected that people here know more about humanity, they are more civilized, they know a lot. But even if you go to the Bahnhof, you're taking a train, you look like a threat to them. You look like you're going to harm them. And this makes you to feel so small and lose a space in this society. This happens to me every day, and it happens every day. I can, even going to the hospital, I'm scared, even facing, I don't know what they're going to say, and I don't know how deep is it going to do, because sometimes they look that they're asking, but they don't know what they're going to speak and how deep it's going to go into us. Yeah, this has been my experience.
Thank you. Yeah, also about how do you came across your ethnicity and living here in Karlsruhe. What kind of maybe experience you could share?
So I would say I've never felt like how Ruby felt. I was not threatened because of my looks, but I could say that I looked down on people because I was an Asian girl. People looked at me as if I was weaker, or I was helpless, also, or even submissive, that I would say what I would not say back to them. People would expect me to be very quiet and shy. All the Asian stereotypes. Yeah.
Okay, now I would like to know from all of you how all these experiences and processes have changed the way you feel and you react to them. Have these maybe taught you something? Have you become maybe more, maybe stronger, more empowered? How did you came across this?
Yeah, to people who make racist comments to me, at first I was angry, I was very reactive, and I didn't know how to deal with it. At the moment, I would not be able to say anything because I was so upset, or I was scared of them attacking me back if I say something. But now, recently, I was on the tram, and then somebody made the Asian eye, and then made fun of my Asian look. And then he was saying, "Oh, those Asian girls," again, and I felt bad because I was like, I feel bad for you because you are not educated enough. You don't know anything about me, and you are just dumb, I would say. Yeah, so I felt, now I feel like I'm empowering them, and I am stronger in myself, and that I know who I am, and nobody can actually do anything to me.
Yeah, like Junie says, you have to wait for those dinosaurs. Ella always says the dinosaurs to become extinct. And sometimes people just aren't, you're not able to help them. And there's no sense in using the energy you have to try to change their minds. I went through a stage of being angry, and sometimes I still get angry, and we have the right to be angry. Yeah, we do. We have the right to be angry. But now I know who I am. I know the type of person I am. I know that, yeah, I'll have to work twice as hard, but I know that I deserve every accomplishment I've achieved. And I know that as people who are not the norm, we have each other to support each other. And that's how we're strong.
Well, sometimes they say that if something doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. Growing up with everything due to my ethnicity back at home, so coming here and I still get the same experience, for me, I just see them as peanuts because I've experienced them already and they can never break me down, but they just empower me to see that I have to work more so that I don't go into the lenses of their eyes and just change the way how they see the society. This is how I've been empowered out of these hate speeches around us every day.
Right. So I feel like I have come a long way since growing up in my small hometown in the US and then coming to Germany and being exposed to so many different people from all around the world, especially in Karlshochschule. But again, questions have I've really encountered and really kind of not so nice experiences that I've had. I've questioned myself, why do I have to control my emotions now? Why do I have to explain myself? But I really think that, like what Ruby said, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So these bad experiences, they've definitely, lots of mosquito bites, lots of itching, but I've had a lot of good supportive people around me, and even I don't if you can all take this, like if you have friends who are non-white and then they are becoming maybe verbally attacked on wherever you go, you have to approach them in a way where, especially me, like I said, I started off angry, but then I questioned, instead of why is this happening to me, I ask myself, what is this teaching me? And so it doesn't shake my personality anymore. They can't define who I am. And yeah, it's just all about not assuming anymore. You ask someone who they are, what's your name? And then you go from there.
Okay, I would like to know from you, each of you, maybe what you would like people to take away from this evening, what you would like them to hold on to.
Oh, well, yeah, what I just said, please just stop assuming. I know it maybe doesn't make sense sometimes where people are from, but you really have to approach it in a very, I don't know, it's yeah, sensitive. Careful. Yeah, be careful. But I think in the bubble of Karlshochschule, we all are like, oh, I'm from Brazil, or I'm from South Korea, I'm from Saudi Arabia, I'm from the US. It's so safe here, but the real world, it can do damage. What physically, mentally, people are killed, people are raped, groups are slaughtered because of this, and this has been going on for eons and generations. But we, I think just a small, this room of people, we can change how we think of humans as groups. Like Ruby said in the beginning, she's a human being. We're all human beings, but somehow we've been lost in translation and who we are. But yeah, I hope this kind of opens people's eyes.
Okay, well, like the fact that my life has been in a different series and living in different societies, one thing that I would like first that really made me and also made me stronger, when the storm came, I really liked the staff members, the professors within the Karlshochschule. The storm was there, but my professors gave me a day every day to come to school because I saw a difference beside there was a storm. This is something that made me come here every day in the university, because within my country, I was in a country, but I didn't get this empowerment from my teachers and professors. I felt all the time that I was different. So to sum it all, what I would like the audience to take from this event today, we are all human beings. If we get off who I look and we go inside us, I have red blood. We have all the organs you have. We all have these organs. And if we look onto this and we reflect on this appearance is just a construction that was made, and we don't want history to repeat itself. Because what you say to me, I can't take it back to my country. And when I speak it to my people, you don't know how I pass the message. And this may create hate. The fact that we don't want history to repeat itself, let's live a genuine life. Let's value each other. It's just the skin and how you call it. Yeah, this could be my statement for today.
What I'd like to say is that we should all listen to the other side of the story. That's probably the most important thing we should take away from tonight. I think that we should try to understand our privilege, and we should realize that for some people to talk, they have to fight so much more for their voice to be heard, and that's the most important thing we should reflect on.
Like Alma said, we have to realize our privileges and how grateful that we are to be here, first of all. And I just want everybody to know that some people are struggling every day because of their skin tone and how they look. I want everybody to know that I could be anything, you could be anything, everywhere. I could look like this, but I could be an American, I could be Brazilian, I could be German. And yeah, we're living in the 21st century, so let's not assume.